So, you're planning that perfect patio or driveway, right? Well, you're going to quickly run into the big question. Pavers or concrete? It is the foundational choice that's going to define your entire outdoor space. Today, we're putting these two heavyweights head-to-head in what we're calling the ultimate hardscape showdown.
And look, this is way more than just picking a material. This is about setting the stage for years of barbecues, family get-togethers, and those quiet mornings with a cup of coffee. The choice you make here, it's going to impact everything, from your budget to your weekend chores. So, let's figure out which one is right for you.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll get to know our two main contenders. Then, we'll dive right into the cost, and not just the upfront price, but the lifetime expense. After that, we'll put them through a serious durability test, see how they handle a tough climate, and of course, judge them on curb appeal. And by the end, you'll have everything you need to make your final verdict.
Okay, so what are we really talking about here? In one corner, you've got poured concrete, which is often stamped with different textures. Think of it as one giant, solid slab. And in the other corner, we have pavers. These are individual bricks or stones that interlock, kind of like a puzzle, creating a surface that's actually flexible and segmented. So, right off the bat, we're looking at two totally different approaches.
All right, let's talk money. Because, let's be honest, for most of us, this is a huge factor in any home project. But the thing is, that initial quote you get, that's only the beginning of the financial story when it comes to your hardscape.
So here's the deal. The essential trade-off you got to make. Poured concrete almost every time is going to have a lower upfront installation cost, and that can be really, really appealing. But pavers often turn out to be the more economical choice over the entire life of your patio, and that's all thanks to lower maintenance and repair costs down the road.
Now check this out, because the numbers here really tell a story. Yeah, you might save a few bucks per square foot with concrete at the start, but look at the long term. If that concrete slab cracks, and it probably will, major repairs can cost you over $5,000. Ouch. And resurfacing it later on, that adds up too. Now with pavers, you just pop out the one or two that are damaged and stick new ones in. It's a completely different world when it comes to maintenance.
And this is where the money argument gets really, really interesting. Pavers aren't just an expense, they're an actual investment in your home's equity. A HomeLight survey found you can get a return of 109%. That means you can actually get more back than you put in. That's a powerful thing to think about if you ever plan on selling your home.
Okay, money's one thing, but what about how long this stuff actually lasts? An outdoor space is a long-term play. You want it to look good for years. So which material truly stands the test of time?
Wow, the difference here is pretty stark, isn't it? A concrete installation might last you 15, maybe 30 years before it needs some serious work. High-quality pavers, on the other hand, they can last 75 years or more. I mean, think about that. They're manufactured to be incredibly dense, which makes them 2 to 4 times stronger than your typical concrete slab. And to top it all off, paver companies often throw in a lifetime warranty. That's something you'll almost never get with concrete.
Now let's talk repairs, because let's face it, damage from tree roots or whatever else is pretty much inevitable. With pavers, the fix is just beautifully simple. You literally just pull out the damaged paver, re-level the sand underneath it, and drop in a new one. It's quick, it's cheap, and honestly, it's often a pretty easy DIY job. Now, compare that to concrete. A crack in a slab can't just be, well, fixed. You have to either live with it, fill it with some patching stuff that never quite matches, or you gotta hire a crew to come in with giant saws, cut out a huge section, and then re-pour it. It's loud, it's messy, it's expensive, and you're always left with this visible scar on your patio.
So we know pavers are strong, but how do these materials handle a truly demanding environment? Let's throw them into the gauntlet, a place known for its really challenging weather, like the Pacific Northwest, to really put them to the test.
You know, in a climate like Seattle's, you're not just dealing with a little rain. You've got the destructive power of freeze-thaw cycles. That's where water gets into tiny cracks, freezes, expands, and just breaks things apart. You've got constant dampness, which is like a playground for moss and algae, making everything slippery, and you have soft, shifting soil. It is a brutal, brutal environment for any hardscape.
So here's the crucial point. It's all about how each material responds to these pressures. Concrete, because it's just one rigid slab, has no give. When the ground underneath it freezes and heaves, the pressure just builds and builds until crack. But pavers are a flexible system. Those little joints between each stone allow the entire surface to shift and move just enough with the ground, absorbing all that pressure without breaking. And for managing all that Pacific Northwest rain, Pavers have this amazing trick up their sleeve: permeable pavers. They're designed with these slightly wider gaps that let water filter right through the surface and back into the ground, instead of pooling on top or running into storm drains. It's a brilliant, eco-friendly solution to that constant moisture problem.
You know, this quote from someone on Reddit who lives in the Seattle area just perfectly captures a major real-world issue. Stamped concrete can look great, but some finishes get incredibly slippery when they're wet, especially once even a tiny layer of moss forms. It can become a serious safety hazard, and that is a huge thing to consider in a damp climate.
Now, to be fair, concrete does have a counterargument. A properly sealed concrete slab is non-porous. That makes it easier to keep clean since moss and weeds don't really have anywhere to take root. The key phrase there, though, is properly sealed. You've got to be diligent about the upkeep to maintain that advantage.
Okay, we've covered the practical stuff: cost, durability, climate. Now for the fun part: aesthetics. Which material gives you the design flexibility to create that outdoor space you've been dreaming of? This is where the choice gets really personal. Stamped concrete is the ultimate chameleon. Seriously, you can make it look like flagstones, slate, even wood. The design possibilities are almost endless. Pavers, on the other hand, offer a different kind of beauty, a classic, sophisticated look that just feels timeless. You can pick from a huge range of colors, shapes, and textures to create these intricate patterns, or just a simple, elegant surface. It really comes down to a choice between imitation and authenticity.
So, after all the rounds, what is the final verdict? Well, the truth is, there's no single right answer. The best choice depends entirely on your priorities, your property, and, of course, your budget. So let's break it down with this final cheat sheet. If your absolute #1 priority is the lowest possible upfront cost, concrete is your choice. If you'd rather just power wash one big surface and you're prepared to keep up with that sealant, it's a good fit. But if you're thinking more about long-term value and return on investment, pavers have the clear edge. If you live in a place with freeze-thaw cycles, or if the idea of super easy, DIY-friendly repairs sounds good to you, then pavers are probably your winner. Ultimately, this is about more than just a surface. It's the foundation for your outdoor life. It's an investment in your home's value and your family's enjoyment for decades to come. So, the real question is, what kind of foundation will you choose to build on?